happens when a seed planted by God grows into a tree, and that tree begins to bear fruit.
Ready? Everybody say hi to Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeff.
Wait. Now this side. Okay.
Hi, Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Oh, got a few more.
Over here.
Hey.
Here, okay. Can't just get
All right. Reverend Brown is wearing a Steelers outfit. I already yelled at him.
This is a curious case of the Curry House Church. This is the curious case of the Curry House Church. The Curry House Church.
Chapter 5, Nite Church. Hey guys, episode 5 is about a very transitional season in the life of the Curry House Church. You have Adam, Kyle, and Jeff graduating from Weinbrenner Theological Seminary, and you have all 4 of the guys moving, but they all don't move to the same place. A lot happens, not just moving from one house to another. This is the curious case of the Curry House Church and the continuing adventures of the core 4. As new things open up and new opportunities and things that they've been doing start to grow and produce fruit. So, let's get into episode 5 of The Curious Case of the Curry House Church.
The Tuesday night dinner definitely was the centerpiece of the community gathering. So, and I think we stopped keeping track at some point, but I think Kyle counted over 200 people coming through the house in one evening within 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And that would ebb and flow with the season, with the semesters of the school.
Sure.
So I guess the beginning of it becoming something other than just eating food was about 3 months into the experience of living there. The 4 of us began praying together on Monday night. So we were having the Tuesday night meal. We decided the night before, we had kind of developed a ritual of going out to eat. The 4 of us and sometimes 2 or 3 others like Justin Brown. We would go get something to eat somewhere, and then we would go back to the house and we would pray and have communion. And we intentionally kind of just came to the realization we need to do something to ground ourselves, because we're getting lost in all this sea of people. You know, like we're losing like our identities almost. I don't know if that's too dramatic of a way of describing it, but when you're just giving to others all the time, and like your home's always open, like you have to be filled. You have to be partaking of the Spirit, you know, so that you have something to give, or else you're just going to run empty. And none of us were a part of a traditional church. I felt like this was church, you know, but it needed an additional element. Like it couldn't just be us living together and feeding people. We needed something where we're connecting to God together. And so that was eating, praying and having communion in our home.
So we would read something, a passage or whatever, and
Yeah.
then have prayer, and it was just kind of like,
Popcorn.
whoever wants to pray about whatever they want to pray about. As we got close with people, there were some people who felt like they could just come over at any time, any day.
Yeah.
Because Curry nights were always Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they had an official start time.
Right.
That I remember. I would always just come after work, and there's always already people there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember a time or two where I was there, and it was, oh, somebody's here. We're locking the doors. We're turning off the lights, like, because this is not the time for
And when we started that, we had to lock the doors, draw the shades, turn the lights off in the house, so that people didn't bother us. And so it was an intentional, this is our time. And there was a couple people I think figured out we were doing that, but then, people kind of left us alone on Monday night. And so that never really stopped, and it was a necessary thing for us to do that. And to also, in personal discussion between us would come after those things, after we've eaten together and talked to God and communed. Then came the communion with each other of talking and decompressing. Who have you been talking to this week, and what are they burdened with? And that would come out in prayer. A lot of our prayers were for other people that we're interacting with. Lord, this person is dealing with this. Please help me to have the words or the time. And so that's where our wells were refilled. And that's what carried us through into the ministry opportunities as they unfolded. Ministry being organically oriented, what do I want to say? Divinely orchestrated moments, a series of them that you never knew when they were going to happen or how.
I mean, it was crazy because I couldn't understand how so many people would come through on a Tuesday night. And then the new house, it seemed conducive for the amount of people that were there, but the energy was different because you could kind of spread out.
When the new house was much more stuff going on. There was more people around. When my wife, Jennifer, and I, when we started dating, we would be there more often. Keith had met Jackie and they were dating.
I guess Nite Church really kind of the event that really began it was Jackie's baptism. That was the last thing Jeff did right before he left, and we started meeting as Nite Church. He baptized Jackie, and so that was he was a really important part of her coming to Christ. Keith and Jackie had met working at Cracker Barrel a couple of years before, and then started dating. And she was kind of a Christian, I think, before that, but just not really living that way. And so meeting all of us and meeting Keith and Jeff especially really lit a fire inside of her to really get to know the Lord. And think Jeff spent several months just reading the Bible with her, and they would go to the coffee shops or the sandwich shops, and so it was really an important event. She got baptized there on her mother's farm. They had a little pond.
Thank you, God. Thank you so much.
Jeffrey?
Adam was meant to be a pastor.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
he's meant to
Yeah.
be a teacher.
He's a leader and a
And
pastor.
yes, but he was also not, like, I wouldn't say he's like super outgoing
Yeah.
or like ready, willing, and able to talk in front of groups of people. So I think it was a way for him to kind of get his feet wet, talking in front of people, teaching in front of people.
About I want to say just a week or two after we graduated from seminary, Jeff and Kyle were leaving. Keith had met his wife. They were engaged to be married within the next few months. They got married that following December. And his wife was going to move into the house. And I kind of had to make a decision of, am I going to stay here? Or where else am I going to go? I didn't know where else to go at the time. So I was like, let's just start having a church. You know, let's instead of just we're still going to do the Tuesday night meal, but let's have a church service now. And we were going to do that on Sunday night so that we didn't interfere with the churches in town with their Sunday morning services. We didn't want to tread on them or upset them. We were plugged into all these different churches through various people, and so we decided to just have a night church, Sunday night church, and just call it Night Church. That was its name, Night Church. What do you call a night church? Night Church. We moved into another house and began Night Church, and that lasted for 2 years.
But we realized, hey, we have a core group of people that would probably desire and want to do church with us on Sunday. Nothing was structured out like you'd see in a typical church service. It was in our living room. But we're just like literally layered through the living room and just gathered all around, and Adam's at the front teaching. And it was really cool. You used the word organic. It was an organic feel, right? The church was an expression out of a community that gathered for the Curry House right? We gathered through the necessity for us to seek out fellowship around a hobby and interest that we had, which was food. And once that happened, we always said that the church ended up being something that was coming out of the gathering of people. We're like, let's gather with an intent to teach, to pray together, to worship, to do these things, right?
Adam, I think, was the one that initially had the idea to basically start a house church. And we called it Night Church because we wanted to do the services later in the day. And basically, it was a lot of the same people that would come to Curry Nights who were Christians and knew, that we were also Christian. And so I think it was just born out of a desire to teach and fellowship and worship together. Kyle was gone by that point. Jeff obviously was gone too. So this is Adam and Keith and myself.
Okay.
And then Keith's wife Jackie
Yeah.
was helping, and then some of the other people at Curry Night would help as well. But yeah, it was just kind of taking Curry Night to the next level with people who all were also of the Christian faith. Keith had met Jackie and they were dating. They had got married.
A lot happens for these four guys. After 2 years at the Gray House, Adam, Kyle, and Jeff graduate. They decide to move, but they all don't move together. Adam and Keith move to a new house in Findlay. Jeff moves back to India. Kyle moves to Lafayette, Indiana to join a ministry. And a lot of new things start to happen. This is the curious case of the Curry House Church and the continuing adventures of the Core Four. The curious case of the Curry House Church. Curry House Church. Curry House Church. Case of the Curry House Church. The curious case of the Curry House Church. Alright. And a lot of new things start to happen with this new move. Beyond the core four breaking up. So, episode 5 is a very transformational episode. It's a very transitional episode. And we're gonna find out what all the transitions are. What all the transitions are. What all the transitions are. So, episode 5 is a very transformational episode. It's a very transitional episode. And a lot of new things start to happen with this new move. Beyond the core four breaking up. So, episode 5 is a very transformational episode. It's a very transitional episode.
Adam and... Oh, shoot. I messed it up. Alright, guys. How about episode 5? Man, I love this episode. It was so cool to see that there was this moment, right? Jeff goes back to serve with his dad. Kyle goes on to serve at the church in Lafayette, Indiana. And that leaves Adam and Keith. So, as Adam talked about, like there was this point of pivoting. And was Adam going to stay or not? And of course, it's really cool to see how he worked through that. He and Keith go to this new house. And out of that was born Nite Church, which lasted for 2 years. And it was like, I felt like it was the culmination of everything that God was doing through the Curry House, Curry Night, and even the prayer group, right? So it's, again, you know, one of the themes of this story is the seeds that have been planted over a period of years are growing. And I think it's important, guys, when we think about how God moves and how the Spirit leads, often we want it now, and if we're not seeing it, and sometimes that's just not realistic, and we don't give God the time. But you see that God works through seasons and seeds. And so we see seeds were planted all the way back at KCC. Those seeds bore fruit. They bore fruit even before the Curry House, but when the Curry House came into existence, these seeds were ready. They were ready to sprout in new soil and grow, and they did. And then we see the full fruition of those seeds into a tree, which produced this fruit, which had its fullest expression in Nite Church. That's really cool, right, guys? All right, love you. Thanks for paying attention, by the way. And like we've got one more episode. I mean, actually, we've got 2 more episodes, 6 and 6.5. So hey, keep watching, keep liking, keep subscribing, and let's keep going with the curious case of the Curry House Church. Amen.